the baby GLS is here. And the great thing is Mercedes is not only bringing the GLB, but also its electric version, the EQB. And these two are going to be the most affordable 7-seat SUVs that Mercedes will sell in India. But there is a caveat. Well, unfortunately, both these cars are going to be full imports. So their prices are expected to be in the region of the GLC. But when it comes to size, it actually matches the GLC. In fact, it is taller. As a result, it has a nice tall SUV stance. And honestly, I love the way this car looks. It looks butch, muscular, and has a balanced stance. The EQB, on the other hand, looks very similar in profile. But yes, from the front and the rear, it does look more futuristic thanks to the closed-off grille and the headlamp and tail lamp designs. But as compared to the butch and muscular-looking GLB, the EQB does look a bit delicate. So which B team are you on? GLB or EQB? Do let us know in the comment section below. The cabin of the GLB really impresses you, and I love the design of the dash, the way it flows, and it also wows you. For example, these two big 10.25-inch screens are high res, and also the MBUX software is beautiful to use, and you also get this nice haptic feedback on the touchpad. Then there are some wow elements as well. For example, these AC vents, the way they function, they feel really well engineered. You also get these toggle switches which have a nice clicky feel to them. Overall, the cabin does feel premium and worthy of the almost 80 lakh rupee price premium that Mercedes might ask for this car. And as compared to the GLB, in the EQB, you also get this ambient lighting on this dash panel over here, which mimics equalizer on an amplifier. But unfortunately, not everything is perfect in this cabin. For example, lower down, you get these hard, scratchy plastics, and even some of the buttons on this top panel feel a bit cheap. The front seats on the GLB and the EQB are really comfortable. You get great amount of support, and you also get this mix of fabric as well as leather upholstery and adjustable seat base for better under-thigh support. The middle row on the GLB is not as impressive. Yes, you do get good amount of knee room, headroom is just about enough, but the seats aren't as supportive as the fronts. So yes, you do move around quite a bit. In terms of storage and practicality, you do get this center armrest with foldable cup holders, but generally in the GLB, you don't get that big car feel that you would expect from a 7-seat SUV. And that is true, especially because this cabin feels a bit narrow. The GLB and EQB don't only feel narrow in the second row, but in the first row as well. In fact, from the driver's seat, you get the feeling of sitting too close to the passenger, which is not the case with SUVs that are similarly priced. And then coming to the third row. So now it's time to check out how the third row is. So according to Mercedes, the maximum height for the third row passenger is 166 centimeters. I am 183, so around 17 centimeters over height. But I'll still try. Oh! The third row is not only cramped, but it also means with the seats up, you get next to no boot space. With the third row folded away, you get a boot that is as big as the GLC, which is great. But here too, I was expecting a bit more from this 7-seat SUV. Now let's see how this car drives. So I was just driving the 220D 4MATIC version of the GLB and it impressed me a lot. The diesel engine has good amount of torque. The gearbox, the 9-speed gearbox is quick enough. It also finds the right gear at the right time. It is refined as well for a diesel. And the fact that this car is quite narrow makes it extremely easy to drive even on narrow roads or even in traffic conditions. GLB's ride quality too is really comfortable, with the pliant suspension keeping the occupants happy and comfortable, be it out on the highway, city or over broken roads. So what about the EQB? Well, on paper, it has more horsepower as compared to the GLB, but there are three problems. One, it is going to be around 10 lakh rupees more expensive than the GLB. Number two, it is slower to 100 km/h as compared to the GLB. And number 3, it weighs almost 400 kilos more as compared to the GLB, which should mean that the GLB will be better to drive, right? Well, at least from where I'm sitting, it feels exactly the opposite. All you have to do is just tap on the throttle, and in typical EV fashion, this car takes off, which makes overtaking extremely easy, and generally from behind the wheel, the EQB does feel like the quicker car. Because there's no gearbox, it just feels more potent, be it driving in the city or up a ghat road or even while cruising out on the highway. And of course, being an EV, the refinement is just a level up as compared to the GLB. Generally, it feels more luxurious, quieter on the inside because there's no engine that you can hear inside the cabin. But the most surprising bit is, yes, it is 400 kgs heavier as compared to the GLB, but it's like the EQB is telling me, hey boss, stop fat shaming me. Because around corners, it feels almost identical to the GLB, which is incredible. The reason for that is the fact that this car, the EQB, has a bit of a stiffer suspension setup. As a result, yes, at low speeds, you do feel more body movement. You can also hear the suspension a bit more, but it's not really a deal breaker. So if you want to buy a B from Mercedes, I would go for the EQB. Just because it feels more fun from behind the wheel, the ride is not bad at all. Yes, only thing is that it has a realistic range of around 340 kilometers, and if you're okay with that, this is the car to go for. As far as luxury 7-seater SUVs are concerned, both the GLB and the EQB are really impressive. Both these cars drive beautifully, are surprisingly fun from behind the wheel, they have a well-appointed cabin, and the features list is long too. But what it lacks is that all-important big car feel, especially at this price point, where cars like not only the GLC but also rival cars like the BMW X3 and the Audi Q5 deliver on. So between these two cars, I'll definitely choose the EQB because it brings a unique proposition of it being the only EV SUV on sale at this price point. And the fact that it drives well, the refinement is really good, just makes this a sensible choice as well.